All right, I hope people can hear me. Let me get the camera. There we go. And hide the image. All right, nice. So yeah, what I'm doing, I gave up on all the other projects. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I just needed a break to do something fun. So, oh wait, let me get that image back. And hopefully my volume's cool. But yeah, I wanted to, I went on vacation and I played a bunch of the Typing of the Dead. So I was like, damn, I gotta make that in Godot. And I didn't know how to touch type till I was like 25. So I was like, damn, this could be a useful skill for people. And you can't be, you know, late in life and still learn this. I'm still like a really slow typer, so this will probably help me out. But yeah, I'm going to start it from scratch and yeah, hopefully not abandon this project halfway through. That would be pretty nice. But I got a new standing desk. The lolcow video game, we're still going to be doing that. Just, you know, I want to make some new projects that are like, you know, just more open to people, more accessible, not like some weird niche internet bullshit. But also trying not to swear. Hopefully that goes over well. Anyway, I guess we'll jump right into it. If you've never played Typing of the Dead, let me kind of show you what it is. There's this. Basically, you walk through. If you've ever played like House of the Dead, this is the original one that I played. Is you walk up to these zombies, they come up to you and they try and like attack you, and you have to, you know, smack them down. Oh, let me get this off the screen. By typing out the words. So that's what we're going to try to achieve in Godot. This is a cutscene from it. I think that's the box art. But yeah, you can see this. It'll give you a rank on there. It also gives you like a bunch of stats and everything. And then my idea is to upload this to GitHub. I want to make it like open source so people can like, you know, F around with it or whatever. I'm going to try and use no models. We're basically using all stuff in Godot. That was a big portion of what I'm trying to do. We also don't want to use ChatGPT. I've been relying on ChatGPT way too much, so we're going to try to eliminate that component of it. Cept for splainin. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so I guess we'll get right into it. We're going to make a new one. We're going to call it Typing of the Godot. And what do you think? We'll probably put this on the internet, so compatibility is probably our best option. This is like for everything mobile. I mean, who's going to use a full keyboard on mobile? So there's no point to that. So compatibility is going to be the one. All right. So, my idea, I'm going to kind of maybe just put a bunch of lines here like this. We have this thing called a, you know what, fuck it, I'll just make the scene. So we're going to do new scene. We'll have this, I'm going to call this one world. And yeah, so we'll just do mesh instances for our enemies and most of our stuff, and we'll probably bring in textures. So I guess not everything is going to be made internally in Godot, although we could use whatever. I'm overthinking it. Alright, so what do we need? We need a path and a path follow. Path, and we're going to call this player path. Player path, and then we have our path follow 3D. And this is Godot 4.4, right? I did I did get the right one. Whatever. Yeah, this is 4.4. Awesome. So I was on the old one, but now we're on the new shits. So path follow 3D. Let's call this player follow. I'm actually going to call it player cart because that makes more sense to me. This is like what the player is going to be riding on. And then let's actually make some mesh instances for our ground and everything. So we'll go ahead and create that, and we'll go, let's see, what do we want? I guess we would want a plane mesh. It doesn't matter too much, really. So we'll throw that in there, and yeah, I guess we'll call this ground. Why not? It's funny that I'm making a touch typing game, and yet I'm still looking at the keyboard sometimes, and I don't even feel around for the nubs on the the F and the J. But it's all good. All right, so we'll add a material. I'm just gonna add a standard material, and then we gotta add a world environment, or everything's gonna be like you won't be able to see anything. Nice. So we'll do that, and we're just gonna add a regular. I don't know what that is. Gonna add a regular one, regular everything basically. Clear color. Let's go sky, and the sky we're just gonna do new sky. Procedural. So we have, you know, just a basic Godot scene right there. Can we make this a little bit, maybe a little bit nicer or whatever? I don't know. The brown is kind of brutal. Maybe some green, a little bit lighter. There we go. Nicer. All right. So then we'll click here. I'm going to make this a little bit darker. Maybe like a brown or whatever. Like a gray. Perfect. So we can really differentiate between our enemies. I'm going to save this. I'm going to make a new folder and call it like, I don't know, world folder. I'm just going to call it worlds. And then we'll call this first world. First, oh shit. Whoops. First world, okay? Yeah, so my idea is to have this like track right here, and the player is going to follow along it, just like typing the dead, and we'll encounter enemies, and then we'll be, you know, fighting with them. And since we know what order the enemies are going to go in, we could just have like a node like this, node 3D right here, and we're going to call this one like enemy holder. Enemy holder. Yeah. Cool. So hopefully people can hear me. I have no idea. But yeah. All right, enemy holder. And then if we just had like enemies, I'm just going to make a random node here. But imagine we had enemy, and we had like 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll actually do that in a second. There's no reason to F around right there. So, but then we would basically loop to the arrays and go through the path, and each one would have a like a set where the path goes. But let me get a little further into the scene. So we just need to make this like a big hallway. So we're going to take the, I think the Y component, and go like 100. There we go. And then I'm going to move it up. So we are at the transform here on the Y. We're going to go, oh, not the Y, it'll be the Z, I think 50. Negative. There we go. So we're going to start there, and the player cart, we're going to need a camera so we can see the world, and then I think this will make more sense once we kind of have that in. So I think what I'm also going to do, we'll just have the camera for now, and then we'll have, I guess we're just going to have some stuff on the side so we can kind of get the perception that we're moving forward. And yeah, let's go to the player path. I'm going to get a nice overhead view, and then I'm just going to make this go forward. How do I edit it? Here we go. So we'll do our first point kind of like right where we're at, like right here. We're going to go like right there. I'm just going to go down this hallway basically. It really doesn't matter where we put the points. It doesn't base anything off the points. It's going to like rebake these points into a line. We just want it to move forward, and then, you know, I'll change this later from a straight passage to like something that actually makes sense. But for now, that's fine. And what we can do is if we go to this, we see our progress ratio moves us forward. So I'll click on views to viewports. We go to the camera, and we can now, we go to the camera, we go to preview. Cool, we go to player cart and we can progress this forward and it moves us towards the end. So all we're going to do now is start putting some enemies in, and then when they hit this point, so I'll have like when it hits like 0.12, 0.17, 0.36 of the progress ratio, it'll initiate that enemy and then we can beat it down or whatever. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and get that going. We're going to go to 3D scene. This will be our enemy. I haven't done any scripting yet, but I will. I'm just trying to think it over in my head, and then we're going to go, I guess we should get a mesh instance 3D. We'll just do our standard enemy type of capsule mesh. And all enemies have to be red, because that's just how it is. And we'll go here, we'll make them red, and I think we should probably bring them up like right about there. And I guess this is where things are gonna start getting complicated, because we're gonna have to put in enemy, we'll save the scene here, and then we'll add a script. Cool. So we don't really want to start with that script. I'm just putting it in there. We're also going to need, I think, a viewport. Let me double check what this does. So this is where I might need ChatGPT to come in and do some splaining for me, because this is the complicated stuff right here. A container used for displaying the contents of a sub viewport. Let's see, sub-viewports isolate a rectangular region of a scene to be displayed independently. This can be used, for example, to display UI in a 3D space. Awesome, that's what we want. So let's do one of those. I knew it was one of these, but where is it? So let's see, render target. I might have to look up a guide. Let's see, what if I go to open documentation, online tutorials using viewports. Nice. Sub-viewports are a kind of viewport that can be added to the scene when we are drawing, and we call it a render target. We can access the contents of a render target by accessing its corresponding texture. Awesome. How do I plug in okay, so I guess I can throw 2D stuff underneath it. Is that what I'm seeing here? Let me keep going. I guess we'll just try some shit. We'll see what works. If anybody knows, feel free to throw it in the comments or whatever. I'm pretty new to this, so I'm kind of figuring it out on the fly. But that was kind of the idea, is to figure shit out. All right, so we clearly need to render something. I'm going to try and render, I guess what I'm trying to render is like a 2D text box, because I need a rich text label. I would just use a label 3D, because we have this, but I don't think, if we look at the documentation for this, I don't think we can do, so like in the game, when you're clicking on stuff, you can see that some of it disappears, and we're gonna have to do some like advanced editing of the text in the box right here, and we might want to have some animations around it. So doing all that in the 3D would be cool, but I don't think Godot is gonna support that all that great with the. I don't think we have as much here. Font size, like I can't change the color of the font here, I don't think. I can, but I have to like do it a different way. So yeah, so basically what I'm trying to do is use another node, not to get too explain heavy, but we'll go, where's it at? I think it's rich text label, right? Yeah, I already have one open. Awesome. open documentation, so we can do stuff like bold text. We can make it italic. If they like miss one, we can we have BB code, which will we can enable it over here, and then it basically allows us to like put different colors on it and do all these cool animations with our text, which we're definitely going to need because we can't not have that. So that's what I'm trying to do, and that's why we're making it this complicated. So let's go back to our sub viewport, and then in the 3D space, let's hide this. Where is our sub viewport? Can we even see it, or do we have to go to our 2D to look at it? If I select this, oh, let me type some shit in here. Here we are. So it's not here. So let's go back to the 3D. Do we see it anywhere? I do not see it. Fit content. We go here, render target. Here we are, okay. World 3D. Do we do a new world? Rendering. Scaling. Doesn't seem that important. World 3D environment. Do we have to load? I guess not. I think that's for something else. Own world 3D. I might have to look up a guide. Let me ask ChatGPT real quick. Start up a new chat. All right. How do I use a sub viewport to display a rich text label in 3D in Godot 4.4? There we go. Let's see what it comes up with. Oh shit, my music. I totally forgot I had like music. Add a sub viewport, container plus sub viewport. Okay, so I need the container too. Sub viewport container, and then I gotta put this inside of here, I believe. Make sure the size is non-zero. Awesome. Add a child, add the rich text label. Okay. Make it visible in 3D. A viewport. You have two main approaches. A viewport texture on a mesh. Let me bring this over here. You have two main approaches. A viewport texture on a mesh. Create a mesh instance 3D, e.g. a plane. Okay, so we basically just put it on a mesh. That's what we want, basically. Okay, I think we're gonna go with option A. Let's take a look at what it's saying to do. If using... I think I understand. Okay. Create a mesh instance 3D, make it a plane, and the material, set a texture slot, albedo to a viewport texture. Okay, I didn't know you could do that. That was what I was missing in my head. Nice, so let's try that. Let's see if Reddit's doing this guy right. So, nice. We're gonna do a plane. Sorry, what am I thinking? A mesh instance, and then we're gonna make it a plane. Bam, we'll throw that up, and then we'll go mesh instance. I guess we'll call it a new plane mesh. We're gonna bring it up and spin it 90. Sorry. I think that'll do it. Oh, that's the wrong way. Whatever, we can look at it this way, it doesn't matter. Cool. So now what does it say here? We're gonna go to material and make a new one, right? Yeah, it said make a new standard material. It said take the standard material, go to albedo, go to texture, and say new viewport texture. Awesome. Can't create a viewport texture on this resource because it's not set local to scene. Please switch to local to scene properly. Okay. resource, local scene. Texture, new viewport texture, there we go. Looks like we're missing viewport, sub viewport. Bam, there we go. Awesome. Here we are. So, I guess that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and plug one of our enemies in and see how it looks. Probably pretty terrible. I didn't think it was going to be that easy. I thought I was going to be stuck on that for a while. How do I move it around in the 3D space? Oh, that's right. It's a viewport, so it's like you move it here. Nice. Cool. Yeah, I did not expect that to go that well. Godot is getting better, dude. I don't know. I like Godot. It's pretty cool. All right. Let's make that a little bit bigger. What are we doing? Rich text label, and the text should be theme overrides. Can we go to sizes and just make it larger? Oh, let's go shrink center and full rect. No, what am I doing? Oh, that's right, because it's a sub viewport. It's not going to go to the full size. Whatever. We're going to do that, and probably should make it more rectangle shaped. Something more like this. And so let's go 375 and 512. Let's just go 500. There we go. It sounds a little better. And yeah, I guess we'll say here we are. I guess that'll be the first thing we'll try to type. Cool. Let's go back to our world and we'll link in some enemies. Oh, they changed this too. That's pretty cool. What is that? Fuzzy search? What does that mean? Enemy. Okay, and we're going to throw him in the enemy holder. And we will duplicate a few of these guys. And this is just a proof of concept, so they can all be directly on this line. So we'll just kind of put them like, maybe, what, like 2? We only really need 1 for right now. Go Control D, and we'll bring this one down. And Control D, we'll put the third one right there. So now we can look at our player cart over top of here, and this is kind of a manual system, but it's going to work for what we're doing right now, and then we can upgrade it later. So if we're at the progress ratio 0, we have no enemies in front of us, and then when we move up at this progress ratio, we have our enemy, so we got to type what's on the screen, and then we can progress past him. So I'm just going to put up here, I'm going to put a at export, and we're going to say ratio, and that is going to be, what do you say, like 0.12. Let's see, unexpected identifier, at export var, I need a var up in there. Cool. And yeah, and then so if we look at our enemy now, we have this ratio value right here, which is specific to each enemy. So we can go back to our 3D, and we can say our cart is at like 0.126 or whatever. So we go to this enemy in 0.12, we can put a 5 right there, make it an eighth of an inch, and then we can continue our cart up. And when we encounter our next enemy, it should be 0.3, let's go 0.35 or whatever. So this enemy will just go right here and say 0.35. And then this enemy down here, we're going to go, whoops, we'll go back to our player cart, 3D, and let's progress this guy. We're like right here, like 7.7. So we'll put his ratio 0.7. Okay, and then we'll go back. We're going to bring him back to 0, and we just need to write a script for the player that's going to keep it moving forward. And I'm probably going to write it on the world because we really don't have much of a player. We just have this cart that's advancing forward, so there's really no reason to add a bunch of complexity having this player script when all you're doing is moving him forward. And then we're going to take the input from a global script anyway, so that doesn't matter as much. Okay, so I guess let me just check something real quick. Sorry. Cool. Alright, never mind. Yeah, alright. I thought I got an email about something, and then I'm like, oh, that's not even what I was waiting for. Okay, so let's go ahead and make that world script. First world, we'll create it, and we'll leave it right in the world folder. And all we want to do is advance this player path forward. So how does this guy work again? Alright, so that's not what we want. We want this one. Open docs. Progress ratio, so we can basically just move the progress ratio forward, I believe. So we could just make a timer and then have the timer move him forward, or I guess we could put it in the delta in process. I think that would be the way to go, right? So if we go func process, and then we say we need to make a speed up here. We're going to say we're going to do an export var speed equals we'll do what, I'm just going to do like 5. We're going to go 0, actually we'll go 5, yeah, and we're going to say progress, well, we got to get some of these, let's do this, at onReady var, and we'll say player cart, let me grab some water. Alright. Player cart, and we're going to say that is equal to the, where are you at? Player cart, right there. So we'll say player cart dot, what is it? Progress ratio, plus equals, delta times speed. And we'll see what that does for us. And then eventually we'll make states, so I guess we could make a state right now, but right now I just want to see if that moves us forward. It should, I think. So let's go ahead and run the script. Select current, yes. Yeah, we're going pretty quick. It looks like we're flying back, I think because we're looping. Are we looping? Yes, we are looping. Wonderful. There we go. We're just flying straight into the atmosphere. Can't stop us. So let's turn our speed down to like 0.05. And then we'll run it. And now we can see this is more what I was going for. Uh-oh. Oh, so we have some type of something wrong with our textures right there. Interesting. Let me ask ChatGPT what they think about that. So, how would I describe that? Let me put that over here. So, my enemy works well in the in its own scene. However, when added to my main scene, the viewport texture that I wanted on my enemy's plane now appears on my camera. Thoughts. Now appears on my camera. Also, their planes have empty textures. Thoughts. Let's see. Shared sub-viewport or viewport texture. If your enemy scene uses a sub-viewport node inside it, the multiple enemies getting instanced, they might all be sharing the same sub-viewport or its sub-viewport texture. Transparent background, unchecked, or camera is rendering the sub-viewport as a background via world environment. Ensure your enemy has its own sub-viewport inside your enemy scene. In the mesh instance 3D's material. Oh, damn, that might be a little complicated. So how would I check if they have their own sub-viewport node? Let me ask that. How could I check if they share a viewport? In your enemy or wherever your sub-viewport is, if multiple enemies print the same ID, they're referencing the same viewport. Awesome. Yeah, let's give that a shot. I bet that's what it is. So in the, we'll just do a func ready. Func ready. And we'll say, what is it? Print. And we're going to say, we're actually in the wrong thing. We'll just put a pass right here. And let me grab this, Control C, and we'll go to enemy, and I'm going to throw this down here. And we'll say print it's a viewport. And then we're also going to print out our self. So we'll say self, and we'll do a little one of these. There we go. So that should help us out. Let's go ahead and run that and see what happens. I think they're all referencing the same viewport, probably what the damage is. We can come down here. Oh no, they're all different viewports. Cool. Well, that actually cuts out. I'm going to feed that back to ChatGPT and see what he says. This is how I use it, by the way. I don't know if anyone else uses it this way. It looks like they are different viewports. Yeah, so they're not sharing the same sub-viewport. You don't have a shared viewport bug. Awesome. That's that was what I thought it was. So viewport texture not assigned properly at runtime. That could be it. My music stopped again. Awesome. Thank you, Artlist. There we go. Recommended setup. So basically setting it as a on-ready var because it might resolve the original scene path instead of the runtime one. Also duplicate the material to avoid shared reference bugs. Okay, that could probably be it. Awesome. Yeah, I bet that's it right there. So let's take a look. Don't assign the viewport texture in the editor because it might resolve the original scene path instead of the one at runtime. Awesome, got it. So instead of assigning it here like I'm doing, let's go back to the enemy. We want to put a onReady var and not an export. Yeah, it looks like onReady var, and we'll say call this? I'm gonna call it active viewport. Active viewport. It looked promising, but I knew it was going to be more complicated. And then we'll say we're basically going to get the viewport. That's what we're supposed to put in there, right? Yeah. There we go. And our texture, we're going to have to create a new texture. So we're creating, I'm just going to bring this over here. It looks like we're creating a new texture. Taking that texture and putting it into the viewport. This probably isn't right. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this is going to give us an error for sure. I don't think that's the right way to do that, but whatever. Let me see. We're going to try it. Fuck it. We're just going to copy and paste. There's no point in me. Bam, right there. I said I wasn't going to copy and paste from ChatGPT, but you know what? We're already doing it because it's going to take too long for me to just write it out. Humans are just incapable of doing this stuff anymore. Text, what is the problem? Viewport not identified. Yeah, it's because it's active viewport dummy. All right, so bam, we'll throw that in there. Get path. What else are we going to do? Mesh not declared. Okay, we're going to need to do that. We're going to need our plane. So on ready var mesh. We'll call it text plane. Oh. Oh. Damn. Yo, that sucked. All right. Text plane, okay, and that's going to be a our mesh instance. So we'll go to. Let me rename this to text plane. Text plane. Text plane. Nice. And that makes me feel better. So we'll do that. What else do we need to do here? We need to now have this name and plug that into this right here. Material override dot duplicate. Do we have a duplicate function? Control F, duplicate. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Thanks, ChatGPT. Just make it up. Half the shit you say, you just make it up. But that's okay. Yeah, there's no way there's a duplicate function in here. What are you thinking? All right, let me go back to here. Let me actually say that to ChatGPT. Let me see what he thinks. Let me ask him. There ain't no duplicate function on the material override. Boom. What do you think about that? All material types expose duplicate directly the way we'd like. Here's the right way. First, check what type of material you're working with. If it's a standard material 3D, you should manually clone it. I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have that. What is this? Original matte? So, mesh.material override. So, all you've done, ChatGPT, is taken this. That's so fucking good, dude. It's like, no, that doesn't exist. But if I take it right here, and then I put a little dot there, and then I add it onto the end down here. Oh, look at that. It's like, yeah, that's the same exact thing that you're telling me to do, dude. Good idea. Well, the problem is the duplicate still doesn't exist. Well, the problem is the duplicate still don't be existent. Still don't be existent. Oh, my mistake. Thank you. Here's a bulletproof way. New texture, get path, albedo. Let's see. Is that gonna work? Is this too complicated? Is this a bunch of boring bullshit? What was I even trying to fucking do again? Let me actually go ask Google real quick. Let me get on different. Alright. My viewport is messed up in Godot 4.4. Let's see. I have a problem with viewports. I tried with the main viewport, but I don't see my entire map. Try to make the sprite 3D and the sub viewport siblings. Okay. Godot supports 3D sound. I don't give a shit about that. Camera A will display on the root viewport and it will draw mesh A. And it will draw mesh A. Camera B. Okay, yeah. So will be drawn for 3D, a viewport will contain a world 3D that is basically the universe that links physics and rendering together. Node 3D based nodes will register the world 3D of the closest viewport. By default, newly created viewports do not contain. Okay. Does any of that help us? Maybe. Oh, thanks. Thanks. Why are you like creating 3D objects in a 3D space and then adding it? Well, I guess that makes sense here, but I want to do the opposite of this. What you're trying to do here. Do you have any? The Godot docs sometimes just suck. What are we doing here? Stretch scale. Great. Let me see. I believe it's probably something to do with this. If I were to go to I bet that it's not we had that thing here. The thing about it being local to scene or whatever. Yeah, resource local to scene. If true, hold on. If true, you fucker. If true, the resource is duplicated for each instance of all scenes using it at runtime. In one scene without affecting the other instances. Okay, so that's not what I want. Well, yeah, I do want that. The resource is duplicated for each instance of all scenes using it at runtime. So if I disable that, can we still run? It doesn't seem to affect it at all. Interesting. 2D, 3D. Get rid of that since we're not using it. Here we are, sub viewport container. Damn. Interesting. I don't fucking know. Let me take a look. All right, let me see. I'm just gonna Google it, and then we'll see if anyone else has. I'm sure someone's got a way to do it. How to display 2D UI in 3D in Godot 4.4. 2D HUD in 3D games. All right.
Wix.
I gotta watch a commercial. All right. Is this what I'm looking for? Let's bring it over here. Hold on. Let me pause this shit, and then we'll bring this video over here. We'll watch this.
Put some 2D HUD on your 3D game. Hello guys, good day to you. I'm Andrew from Yellowhead Games. Welcome to this new video. Lately I've been working with 3D scenes and I'm making kinda an endless one. It's 3D and I wanted some HUD on my game, and it was kinda hard to find something about this. But honestly, you already know this. You just need a canvas layer basically. You just go here, just go and grab your canvas layer, and here on the canvas layer you need to put your HUD. Now my HUD is a 2D scene, it's plain, it has some elements. I just saved it.
Dude, who the fuck was trying to figure that out?
In this case to show you. And you can see that we can't have a real 3D preview about your HUD right now, but if you run the game, the HUD is there and you need to connect signals and stuff to actually make it work, but this is all basically. There are other ways to make this. You can project stuff on your meshes and use viewports and all that other kind of.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to do. Oh, damn. Why would you label your video like that? Good idea, dude. Hold on. Here we go.
Hi, Matt here. While making my VR Capture the Flag game,
see.
I've encountered a major roadblock with the game engine of my choosing, namely Godot. And I'll tell you all about it, but first let me set the scene. My players somehow works
don't set
well,
the scene,
so
just show me the thing, man.
It's still in 2D. Second result. A demo scene for Godot 3 written in GDScript. Does not work for me since I'm working in Godot 4 for the glorious Vulkan quality, and I'm using C# to code my game. I know that GDScript is not really a problem since it should work with C# with no issues, but I'd like my project to be coherent and expandable, without any hacky call methods with passing string method names.
Okay, so what are you trying to get across to me in this 5-minute video?
Pointing again to the second result. Alright, I see the pattern. Let's take a look at the demo scene again. The code seems fairly straightforward, but the component itself it's not really reusable. I'd need to recreate the scene every time I need a new UI. I think I can do better. So I started off by porting the GDScript to C#, the mesh to the view. Step 5.
Oh my god. European nonsense. Let's see. How do you put a UI over a 3D scene in Godot 4? Awesome. Camera. Why is it zoomed in? Is a canvas layer what we want? Is that what we need? I have no idea. Let's go back to the docs and take a look. This is going really badly. I thought it was going to be much easier than this. It was looking very promising. Okay. Here we are. So, local to scene, even if we do that, it does nothing. If we go here, kind of screwed there. Hold on, let me check the 0 comments. All right, I don't know. So clearly this is like a big thing in Godot, where a lot of people are having problems with this. We're going to try transparent background. Rendering, what do we have here? Canvas items. Disable 3D. Let's try that. Let's just see. I guess we'll just try some of these options and see if any of them have any effect. Well, so that's kind of good. We got transparent there. Now we just need that to render here instead of there. Let me do something. I think I have an idea. If I go to the world and so this should be the last node to load, right? I'm just gonna print all of its children. Print get. Well, I'm gonna do this for child in get children. Print child. I just want to see how many viewport containers there are, and if they're all linking to one, and if one's on the camera, or what's going on here. But yeah, we're gonna do that and see what this says. And then I guess we should get the children of them, so we should say no, whatever. This should be fine. Let's just see what happens here. I want to see something. So we run it. We have our enemies, player, ground, world environment, enemy holder. Awesome. So we just have those, and so we do have to make this recursive for, well, we really don't have to make it recursive. We can just do some hacky programming and just do a couple of them right here. Yeah, can we just do this for chilled in child.getChildren. I basically just want to test something, so there's no reason to go crazy here. So now we have our enemies, and then I actually want the children of them. Awesome. This is pro gamer stuff right here. This is true Python, and then we'll do right there. So this should show me all of their viewports and shit, right? But we're already seeing that. This is what I wanted. The text planes. Text planes are all different. The sub viewport containers are all different. The mesh instance 3Ds are all different. The camera 3D. And the camera 3D is not... I thought for sure like some of these instances were going to be the same, honestly. Sub viewport container. Fuck it, so that told me nothing. I guess my tiny mind just can't figure it out right now. Print, looking good, pal. Looking good. I think I have another way to figure it out. I think we just need, let's just get one guy going right here. And I'm actually going to add one into the world and just see, because that should behave differently. So let's do a mesh instance, and then we'll go here, and then we'll add a sub viewport container. And how do I do it here? Okay, we'll go back, and we'll see if that works. If it works in the local scene, but not in the other one. What if I do this? What if I just go here and I say make local? What do you think about that, Godot? And let's hide you for now. Let's run that shit. If it works, still doesn't work, still broken. Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, we'll go here. Sub viewport, we're going to Control C and Control V, and we'll put just a bunch of gibberish right there. Awesome. So where are we going to attach this to? We need to attach it to a plane. So we'll go here and we'll go mesh instance 3D. We'll make a new plane mesh. We'll go back to our 3D. I should have done this since the beginning. I don't know why I didn't think of this. We're going to rotate it. Slam it up right here. And we'll go to the material, new standard material. And we'll go to, where is it? Albedo. Oh, you know what? Maybe I didn't. Do we need to click this? That'll be something we'll try. Alright, so whatever new viewport texture. It's not local to scene. Okay, we'll make you local to scene. Then we will grab the viewport texture. We'll assign it. It should be this viewport that we just made. And there we go. Okay, so if we run it now, it's still showing up on our main camera. What if we run our enemy and we put a camera here? Okay, so it's still sticking to the still sticking here. So let me ask that for ChatGPT. Why is it sticking to my camera and not my viewport? Forget everything I just said. Forget everything I just said. Now I need to know why my labels in my sub viewport are sticking to my camera and not my mesh viewport. Got it. Fresh start. You're displaying the sub viewport directly. Instead of displaying it on via a sub viewport container. What are we doing here that I'm not already doing? Correct setup for sub viewport. Viewport, sub viewport, mesh instance 3D. Creating a new texture, get path. There's no reason to set up a new. I feel like, you know, the editor should be doing it. Here we are. Oh, I can click on that? What the hell? Alright, let's clear mode, update mode, disable 3D. I don't know why that was clicked. Let's run that again. Okay, still not looking good. What is own world 3D? Nope. Transparent, canvas call mask. Huh. What if I select new world? What is that doing? Let's see. Nothing. Awesome. Damn. Cool. Handle input, snap 2D. If true, hold on. Well, you know what? The nodes will internally snap to full pixels. Let me take a look more at the material. I bet maybe it's a material related issue. Transparency, alpha. Okay, shading per pixel. Let's go unshaded. Vertex color uses albedo. Sometimes that makes a difference in these things. We have our sub viewport selected. We'll say yes. We're going to unselect that, and we're going to run it and see. It's still there. And it's still showing that we have no texture here. If I run like a little, whoops. Sub viewport dot, can we say get texture? Let me do that. Are you gonna say you don't have one? Can we print the name? Can we do dot name? Is that gonna give us anything? Yeah, I didn't think so. But we can run that. Where are we at? Viewport texture. So yeah, it is. I don't know. I have no idea. But I do have somewhere to be pretty soon, so I'm probably gonna end this stream. It's pretty brutal. We didn't really accomplish much, but yeah, I am gonna upload some shit to GitHub once I figure this out, and we'll have it started, and we're gonna continue forward with this project just because it is fun to learn new shit. But yeah, thanks for anyone who showed up. I know it's been a pretty disappointing stream. Not a lot of fun was had, but that's all cool, dude. So I guess, you know, later